Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today. I've got an inspiring interview that I'm going to share with you. There's a young gentleman who's coming. I'm going to be having a conversation with him. And before, in fact, coming to any interview session, there's certain work that needs to be done on the side, some research, if you may. So I've came across something and I wanted to share it with you. It says that esse quam videri, and that means to be rather than to seem. It's so easy for us to seem as if we've got our things put together, to seem as if the business is flowing as it should, to seem as if our relationships are put together, rather than to really be. And it takes time, it takes effort to really become and to be that one thing that you've said. So part of the work that we're doing is to really put in the work behind the motivational speaking, and not really just being your ordinary motivational speaker, but to also speak to young people who are trying to find the inspiration, who are trying to be motivated behind the scenes, in really going the extra mile in achieving their work. And this is one young gentleman that we have here today. So I'm so inspired, I'm so intrigued. We're going to be speaking about food. If you quite at home and you're salivating where you are, this is going to be an interesting interview for you. If you're a young person who really wants to get into the culinary field, I'm sure he's going to share some ideas and how the environment really works. I'm quite excited that he's also not just doing the work, he's also looking at how to turn it into a business. And I do think that in the current economy that we're experiencing now, that we're living under, we really need more young people in business. So I'm quite excited and I'm quite, chuffed to be sitting with him. Please don't miss this interview and this sitting. Please do enjoy. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, so Motero and I were having a very, very in-depth discussion about so many issues when it comes to the chefing environment and the culinary arts. But there's so many questions that I wanted to ask. So as I was speaking to him, something came into my mind and I wanted to share it with the audience. So someone was saying that it is better for you to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. So it is important each and every time, wherever it is that you're going, whatever it is that you're doing, whether it be in a private, working environment, whether it be in your business or anywhere, for you to always be prepared. And I'm happy that he and I are having this conversation, because I called him one day and I said to him, I need to speak to him about certain things, and he just said, definitely, let's come and talk. So for me, it's very important, and I'm quite excited that he's here. One important question that I wanted to ask him: he had an event in Bloem just a couple of weeks back. How do you think that event went? Do you feel that it was a successful event? Do you feel that you've met the brief? You've made your customers and your clients happy? What's your view on the event?
Based on the feedback that I've received, I would like to believe that it was a success.
Yeah.
We were gunning for 40 guests, and that's what we were able to get. And I think everyone understood the assignment with regards to the dress code and the beverages that they were going to consume on the day, as well as the food that they were going to consume on the day. Everyone was open to everything that was served to them on the day, and everyone is looking forward and has been pestering me about when the next one is.
When is the next event? And I'm quite excited that people at least saw your work, and this is how you can use that as a base or a starter for future projects. But take us back before we go into what you're planning for the future. Why did you come up, or how did you come up with this idea of the long table? What inspired that idea? How did you come up with the idea, and what were you thinking in the long run?
I noticed that the food scene is near to being existent in Bloemfontein.
Okay.
Everyone goes to the same place to eat and to drink. But then after eating at certain restaurants, one wants to go out to the club.
Gotcha.
So I felt that to break away from the norm, let me introduce the long table and see where it could possibly take me.
Got you. Got you.
Like I mentioned of air, we had 12 guests at the first one, and then 40 at the second one.
Grow from that.
So I think people are receiving it well.
Yeah.
You know, they wanna have more than just food.
Yeah.
They wanna have more than just drinks in the club and doing the same thing day in and day out.
Yeah.
And I would like to believe that that's what I'm bringing to the table.
Yeah.
And people are able to make new friends and make new connections at the long term.
Yeah, and I agree with that because going to events nowadays is not just going to events. You go to events to connect with people, you go to events to network with people, because you might never know that in the art or the industry that I'm in, there's another person who's doing the same thing who might help me better my product. So in these events, for me, it's important to network and to speak with young business-minded people to push our products forward. You did mention that a lot of people were saying, when is the next event? Are there any plans, in behind the scenes that are being put together to see in the near future that you can build on what you've already worked so hard on, and to make the experience much more tangible and much more better than what it was previously?
We're currently working on bringing another long table to the people, but I can't give out any information as yet. We still have to decide on the theme, on the venue, and we still have to figure out if people will be open to that experience. But we're hoping the next one will be in either summer or spring, or even both seasons. And the other thing is that, like I did mention, people are open to new experiences. So with the next one, we're definitely going to push people out of their comfort zones. So we can only hope once we have finalized everything, everyone will be open to it, and they won't be shy about spending money, because now everything is going up. And in order to deliver a really great experience to everyone, it has to cost quite a bit. Yes.
But also, I think I'm quite happy that you're saying that in the long run you are looking to create something. For some of us, like me, who's never been to Mexico, I think we missed out. Really, the theme, the event, the venue was just so brilliantly put together. And one, if you didn't know where you were and just woke up in the middle of the room, you'd think that you're in Mexico. So the gentleman really went the extra mile in really creating that Mexican experience. And I was quite excited to see. So maybe in the next one, you can also take us somewhere in the world and really give us that experience. Because there's importance in traveling as well. Really getting these different textures, your Asian food, and really understanding what they put in their food, and really bringing it here and giving it your African experience. For me, that's important. What's your view on that? Really taking what the world is doing and giving it an African touch.
It's always good to bring it back home. I took people on an adventure to Mexico, but without losing touch of who we are and where we come from
as Africans.
Yes. I don't want the DJs to play South American or Latin music. I allowed them to play South African music just so that they can understand that as much as this is an event that is Mexico driven, but it's still
South African,
very, very and proudly South African. So on the next one, we're hoping to take people on a journey somewhere else, and obviously without losing touch of where we are.
I'm quite excited. We are nearing to our conclusion, guys. If there's anything maybe that you'd like to ask, just below in the caption, just leave us one of your comments and tell us maybe certain questions that you'd like to ask when it comes to the food environment or the culinary environment, and we'll definitely send it to Mateo to try and answer and give us an answer back. But as we try and wrap up, I know personally, this is a personal question that I wanted to ask him. On a Sunday, this is what I remember growing up as a young kid. My mom used to prepare some delightful food in the morning. You'd be woken up by that nice smell. We used to call it 7 colors. I don't know what it's called now. And even though you didn't have 7 colors on the plate, but you anticipate really and wait for the Sundays where your mom would just put together different food and it would just give you that nice experience. So just give us your view maybe on a Sunday where you're creating some nice food for a small family, maybe a family of 4. What would you then make? And you didn't prepare for this, so I want to just, try and see how he's thinking as well as a young chef.
Because it's winter, right? My take on a 7 colors would be tough. Okay, it would be lamb shank, falling off the bone, of course, and then I would pair it or put it on a plate with some polenta. Polenta is
You have to explain that. I was about to ask.
is what we call Italian pap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it soft?
It's
compared
soft.
to ours?
Yes, very soft. And usually how they cook it is with a bit of milk, a bit of parmesan, just to give it that creaminess.
Is it different to what the Western Africans are making? That is it fufu they call it where
Yes.
Yes.
They're entirely different, but it's something worth experiencing.
Yeah.
And I would like to believe that it has a lot less carbs than our pap.
The normal pap. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And so it would be that, and then some gravy, but it wouldn't be your normal tomato gravy.
Okay.
It would be a red wine jus. Red wine jus, and then
would that be sitting underneath or maybe just dripping on?
It would have to go on top of the lamb shank.
Got you.
Would have to go on top of the lamb shank,
Got
and
you.
then I'd have sides to go with it, right? So those 3 elements in one bowl, and then on the side, that's where I have my veggies. I'd have broccoli, a nice pea and couscous salad, with a bit of Moroccan flavors, and then the third one would probably have to be sour cream.
Yeah.
I've taken a liking to sour cream.
Yeah.
So I'd definitely go with sour cream, and that would be my.
Is there wine that you'd pair it with, or maybe suggest? I do know that it's a family,
Yes.
idea, but what would go along with that?
A Pinot Noir. I definitely a nice Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
Preferably 2019 vintage.
So as a chef, you need to understand your wines and beverages as well.
Yes. I'm still learning in that regard.
Yeah.
But I've taken a liking to wines that are 2 years old or that are deemed as very young.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So as a chef, you'd have to turn into a sommelier as well and really understand what winery and how that works.
Yes.
What to pair what foods with. So that's also important.
That's very important. Because you could have a certain wine and you'd be able to taste a bit of cinnamon in it.
Yeah.
And then off the top of your head you'd think, cinnamon goes well with certain meats, certain vegetables.
Yeah.
So why not pair this wine
Together.
with this?
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. I think we've, in a short period or so, we've really understood what to do. Maybe we can also just push him to say you should send us a certain recipe that you can put together in order to create this dish. Because some of us maybe at home, we're sitting there and we're really listening to this interview and we say, I'd like to create something like this for my own small family. And I like that he's bringing in different textures in one bowl, but there's different plain food. There's height, there's different textures, and so for me that's always important. And this is the fine dining that you get when you go to restaurants as well. So you can really take that and to bring it into your own home. That's quite interesting to hear. But lastly, maybe as a parting shot from him, I'd like to just give you an opportunity, my brother, to the people who've just been introduced to you and really understand your work and understand the background. Maybe just tell them where to get you, how to get your services, and what to do if they'd like to invite you over to come and cook for them or their family members.
Okay, So my information goes as follows. My personal email is motero.morgan50@gmail.com, and for my business, which is a long table, it is motero@alongtable.com. And then on the socials, my Instagram name, you guys might not like me for this because it's quite long, but it also embodies the kind of person I am, you know. My name is Lord of the Underdogs, and my business account name is a.long.table on Instagram.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Thank you so much, my brother. I really appreciated the time that you took out of your busy schedule. I'm quite impressed that you also had some personal stuff that's going on the side, but you've really said you are definitely going to come and to really have a conversation with us. So that's always appreciated. What I've taken from this conversation is that it's never too late to do what you're passionate about, to follow your dreams, and to really go the extra mile in achieving. What was also said behind the scenes, or if you were really listening to the conversation, is that it also takes time to take your product, to take your craft and really turn it into something else. I think it was Gladwell who wrote about the 10,000 hours that you need to put in order for you to get to a certain level. So you don't just wake up one day and you're really at the high level. There's room and there's space for young people to really turn whatever it is that they're doing into something that's going to change and revolutionize. And that is why I'm speaking to young people, because I'm also young and I'm trying to make headway as a young motivational speaker to inspire the country, to inspire whoever's listening to some of these footages and some of the work that we do. So for me, this is just the beginning. There's so many people that I want to talk to and to share their, for them to share their space and to share their ideas with. So this is just the beginning. Hopefully we can turn this and really turn it into something that people can really enjoy the content and to really consume the content, because it's young people who have done it, who are really still struggling through it, but who can share some of the tricks and the experiences that they've learned in order to make the journey a bit easier for us. So I really hope that you enjoy this week's footage that we've put together for you. To my guest, Mateo, thank you so much for being here, my brother, taking the time out of your busy schedule. It's really appreciated. There's people who are also working behind the scenes. We thank you to them. Hopefully, when you look at the footage, when you look at what they've put together and really at this beautiful, beautiful venue, you can really see that they're doing a great job. So from me to you, you still have some time. It's in the middle of the year. There's still time for you to really look at your dream again and to really check if whether or not you're making strides, you're in the right direction before the end of the year. So there's still time. I think there's 6 more months to go. So with me personally, as I look at my dream as well, there's still a lot that I can still do in order to achieve that ever so elusive motivational speaking pinnacle. So please do join the journey. Push yourself and make sure that you achieve. So from me to you, thank you so much. Let's see each other again next time. Thank you so much, guys. One would swear that I've never been to Bloom. It is freezing, it is cold, and I'm really struggling to keep my thoughts together. So I'll just share one last, a few closing segments and then we're done. I've just had the interview. Please look out for that. Quite inspirational work that we've done today. Really look out for that and some of the work that we're going to be doing in the future. Thank you so much for really supporting and really being here for the work that we do. It is so difficult to put together a product that people are really going to consume and to really benefit from. So it's always a pleasure to really try and do the research and to do the work to put together a product for you that you can enjoy at home. So really take the time to really go through some of the work that we've done and to really try and apply some of the work that we've been talking about. So that for me is always important. But nonetheless, thank you so much for really being with us. This is a one short program in the many programs that we're going to be bringing to you. So please do stay tuned. Thank you to each and everyone who's really been supporting us and supporting the Success Challenge movement. Thank you so much. This is not the end. This is the beginning. Greater things are going to happen. Stay blessed. Thank you so much.